Amid the various OEMs within Motown, two-wheelers basket was the last one to hand in its numbers for the month gone by as far as wholesale volumes are concerned. Let me start with the largest two-wheeler maker, MotoCorp. Their performance has largely been in line with what the street was also factoring in. They've sold 4.47 lakh units for the month gone by, a 5% uptick year on year. But yes, there's definitely a double-digit degrowth, almost 25% degrowth on a month-on-month basis. But the performance, I would say, largely in line. No significant negative surprises seen there. In fact, the silver lining here is that Hero has actually clocked in its best Q3 ever. They've registered the best wholesale volumes in history as far as Q3 sales are concerned. The management is betting on positive trend to continue in the new year. They expect volumes to improve given the improving consumer sentiment as well. So despite the challenges posed by the pandemic, they expect the momentum to sustain. They're betting big on their wide range of products, consistent alignment to new technologies and services, which would ensure the company's growth and give it impetus going into 2021. Next up to hand in their wholesale numbers was TVS Motors, 2.72 lakh units. Again, in-line set of performance delivered by the two-wheeler maker. Royal Enfield numbers, well, were already known well in advance. On Friday itself, they had declared 68,995, almost 69,000 units sold by the company. You had a solid 37% growth year-on-year basis, given that their base is quite low, and in the same month last year they were a victim indeed of Motown slowdown, especially being a niche player within the premium motorcycle segment. Royal Enfield definitely was a victim of the downtick that the entire industry saw, but this time around a good near 40% YOY growth. Even sequentially, they've managed to surprise the market by posting a sequential growth of 8% compared to the sales in November. So good gains coming in from a good performance coming in from Royal Enfield as well. Finally, you had Bajaj Auto come in with its numbers. This morning itself, close to 3.72 lakh units delivered, 11% growth YOY. However, an equal quantum of degrowth on a month-on-month basis. But yes, it's largely an inline set. Like I said, there's no negative surprises there. In fact, if you look at the streets view as well, for most OEMs, they also are of the view that passenger vehicles and CVs were the stars. They did manage to beat expectations, whereas two-wheeler and tractor wholesales were largely in line. PV OEMs reported a strong demand and saw long waiting periods, whereas in the same time, you had two-wheeler makers, most of them barring Royal Enfield, who remained cautious on demand sustainability, and they kept inventory in check. So overall, I'd say PVs and commercial vehicles saw a solid improvement. Tractors were in line with estimates, and going forward also, the demand momentum, low inventory in both passenger vehicle and tractor segments suggests stronger wholesale in the coming months as well. That's what analysts also believe. Two-wheeler OEMs, however, are expected to see some cautiousness in their stance with no major inventory push. CV, on the other hand, is expected to see sustained growth from here on. So that's the overall picture that we're getting as far as Motown trends for the coming months are concerned.